bass guitar inspired by Lord of the Rings was actually one of the first ideas I ever wanted to turn into reality on this channel, so let's get started. For this project I bought this poplar burl slab, which was cut as a cross-section. It's because the wood figure of a burl cut like this perfectly resembles iris of an eye, and in this case, the eye of Sauron. And I was also lucky that this slab had the iris of the wood figure radial, which further enhances the resemblance of an eye. I'm gonna turn this into a 1/4-inch top layer for the body, and of course it comes with its own challenges, since it's an end grain. But it also comes with the benefit of an easy staining, which will basically be the main highlight of this build. This was 3 hours straight of moving my arm forwards and backwards, with most likely a dull saw, to get these two book-matching slices of the burl. Then I got them surfaced on a router sled. As a body wood, I've picked ash. This time I decided to do 90% of all gluing with black stained thick epoxy, and that's because I felt like it would be more able to fill and stabilize all the cracks and end grain pores of the burl better than a standard wood glue. And I've tinted the epoxy black because I was afraid that if there were any bigger cracks filled with transparent epoxy, it would be impossible to stain it black afterwards. And that's the plan. I'm about to stain almost the whole instrument black eventually, so I wanted to avoid all the unstainable light spots. And it's summer, so it's hot in the shop, and the epoxy gives me a longer work time. Using traditional wood glue would be too stressful in this case. I'd have to rush to set all the things in the right place and clamp them. Now you can see me doing the pupil of the Eye of Sauron. If you are new here, this is what I do. A customer which I'm making this base for coins the term nerd builds, which I really like. It suits perfectly. So far I've done Dark Souls, Elden Ring and Bloodborne inspired guitars. You can find these builds on my channel as well, and so Lord of the Rings build feels as a natural follow-up for me. So if you are a musician and a gamer / movie fan and you like this approach of creating basically a fan art, or you just simply enjoy woodworking and guitar building videos, I'd be grateful if you'd consider subscribing to my channel. And now let's get to the fretboard. It would be really cool to do the black speech inscription which was on the ring, right? Sure, that's when the CNC comes handy. It's such an easy task for a CNC, which I still don't have. So as always, I freehanded the inlay with my Dremel holder. 2 days of work, moving super slowly, each letter routed twice. First pass was in the depth of 1 mm, then to 2 mm depth, Many of these thin Dremel bits were snapping, but luckily I haven't had any chip out or router slip. I filled the inscription with golden epoxy, which created a nice contrast and did a 20-inch radius. For the neck, I picked curly maple, ash and padouk and made it into a 9-piece laminated neck. Many of you reached me about your ideas for a custom guitar or bass. Whether it was another nerd project or a highly specific customized build, or simply whether I still haven't sold the guitar from the video, and if so, will I ever be making the same one? And guys, although it's great and flattering, I'm not Bonnie Blue, I can't take you all. But in the very near future I'm planning on making custom builds my full-time job. And I want to spend 40 hours every day in the shop building guitars for you. The only thing that could possibly slow me in doing that is my relationship, social life, sports, and I will try my hardest to avoid all of that. So, if you want your dream customized build, feel free to reach me. The best way is through the direct messages on my Instagram or Messenger. This is how the black speech turned out. So what do you think? And do you know what the inscription means? Let me know in the comments. This time I tried making the neckthrough design to click tightly in the body, like a Lego, and of course glue it with black epoxy, which will also fill all the micro gaps and make it look seamless eventually. And if it wasn't obvious so far, I should let you know that this will be a 5-string headless multi-scale bass. How do you feel about the headless instruments? I think it looks cool, but only when it's multi-scale. If you would feel the unbearable urge to type a comment saying that there already are some people who made a Lord of the Rings inspired guitar, I know, but I've seen them and those kinda didn't give me the right vibes, you know, and so I wanted to make my own version. Which is much better. Anyways, what's your favorite scene from the Lord of the Rings trilogy? Mine would be how Ron Weasley shoots down Darth Vader with Golden Uzi as he's trying to stop him from killing the Ender Dragon. And if you are wondering why the control cavity looks so complicated, it's because I wanted to try a new feature because the customer didn't want any knobs on the top of the body. And you will see later what's going on. I wanted to make a custom cover for the single humbucker pickup, and as a wood of choice I've picked this block of walnut wood, which I felt like wouldn't interfere with the flow of the design. Just kidding. Of course I've made the pickup cover from the same materials to connect the Eye of Sauron. Now the most important step of this build, the staining. I've been using powder stains which you dilute in hot water, and I found these to be really effective and easy to work with. They soak deep and are easy to apply, fade and correct. The first step was to turn everything black. Then, after the black dried, I sanded out the black from the center of the body and applied dark red. Then repeated the process of sanding and applying orange and eventually yellow, and correcting here and there until I was satisfied with the result. I aimed for flame-like visual and a smooth fade between the colors. Sometimes I even just rubbed hot water to blend the colors into each other and created a nice transition. When it comes to the back and the neck of the base, I didn't want it to be just pitch black, so I lightly sanded the stain so it looks more like dark grey medieval weathered armor color, and also to have the wood grain of the curly maple stand out more. As a finish, I used Rubio Monocoat Oil Plus 2C Pure and a Sheen Plus. And I actually don't know how I did it, but I've somehow made the Rubio finish on the top look polished and shiny, and also feels super smooth. I did 2 coats and sanded 4000 grit between them. This is a custom passive humbucker pickup from my friend Lokvenc Guitars, who was able to make the poles angled for this multiscale, which is important because this way they are perfectly centered for each string. And this is the reason why the control cavity plate looks the way it does. It's because I've put there these sliding pots for volume and tone, and a Fender DPDT switch for series or parallel coil selection. I've made 2 wooden faders for the sliding pots, surfaced flush with the body. The last thing to make was the nut, and I made it from stainless steel like last time, with my Dremel carefully milling the slots to the correct depth, and then because I wanted the nut to be dark. And for a long time I was unsuccessful with various types of colors, coatings or even gun bluing, because nothing seemed to hold on the stainless steel. Everything would just come off with the slightest scratch, but then I tried spraying high temperature silicone coating, which is primarily used on motor pipes. But in order for the coating to cure and harden properly, it's necessary to put it through extremely high temperature. So I put the nut in my fireplace for 20 minutes and that was enough. This became my favorite and effective process of making scratch-resistant black coating on stainless steel at home. These are black nylon tape wound strings from the Dario, which feel silky smooth to play and they offer a really warm, dark tone. What do you guys think? Thank you for watching guys, and as always you can leave me a comment on what I should build next. Or as I said, reach me about your custom builds. And I'll see you next time.